Well, let's first talk about. I think it'd be kind of interesting to talk about. Trump, through an executive order, has signed the ability for people to start using psychedelic drugs
Mm-hmm.
to be able to deal with their mental health, and it's especially through I think it's not that it's
Yeah.
only for this, but it's kind of focused on veterans. And some people that have done this have kind of sworn by it, and it's not like a,
So psychedelics. So that's what we need is a bunch of people struggling with PTSD seeing stuff.
well,
I'm not sure.
I think there's it's not like, hey, here's a shroom, go do some shrooms. I
Yeah.
think it's under the care of a hospital when you're doing it. And there's certain amounts that they give you, and there's a certain thing that they're trying to get you to go into this visionary state. I don't know tons about it. I've heard Joe Rogan talk about it quite a bit. He's pushed it a lot, but there are people that say they swear by it, and they don't have to keep on taking them. It's not a drug that what are those drugs called that
SSRIs, SNRIs.
Yeah, that they put on people for years and years, and they really don't work. Or they do work, but it's not something that actually cures you.
I will tell you, they don't work.
Well, actually, when I was listening, when Trump announced this, there was a doctor on, and Trump asked if those work, and she said it only works 20 to 30% of the people that take them.
That might work. That might be true.
Which is
and
interesting.
then I would like to. I have more questions about that though. I'd like to talk to those 20 to 30% of people that actually say it works, and actually dive into what is being fixed and what's working.
Here, look this up. What percentage of women are on, what are they called, SSRIs? Google that real quick, because there was a high percentage of women that are on it in the United States. So what percentage, Google that, what percentage of women are on SSRIs in the United States? And then you look at this number, and it's a high percent. I think it's 40% or something like that. But you'll find it here in a second. And then you get a whole bunch of these people taking these chemicals, this medicine that changes the way you think and who you are. And a lot of them, it doesn't even work.
Okay, so I asked for SSRIs and SNRIs because they are different. They do two different things.
Okay.
But they're both widely used for depression and anxiety. SSRIs are typically used for depression and anxiety and depression. And then SNRIs are typically used for just depression.
Okay.
And this says 15 to 18%.
Okay. So it says 15 to 18% of women are on.
15. Yeah, approximately
Seems
15.
low. Are you sure?
I don't know. It's
How
all
did you
over
word
the place.
How did you word
I
the question?
put, what percentage of women are on SSRIs and SNRIs
In the United States?
in the U.S.?
And it said only 16%.
It says 15 to 18% of adult women in the U.S. take antidepressant medication. A rate roughly doubled that of men.
I find that
Antidepressants in the U.S. Antidepressants in the past 30 days, with usage increasing to 24% among women aged 60 and older. I don't understand. It's got so many numbers. Google sucks.
Try to find a different website. Is there a medical website that you can find that would be a little bit more accurate?
This is pulling from the CDC.
Oh, it's pulling from the CDC. That'd be great. Well, it's not great, but I thought it was much higher. And then the numbers that I had heard were 40%. But if it's 15%, that means if you have 10 women, only one is going to have depression or be on medication like that.
I can tell you when I'm talking to someone on them.
They seem a little out of it or what?
Oh, they're just detached. They're completely just... And that's how I was when they put me on them for, they put me on and off them for 10 years. Different, well, not on and off, but just different ones for 10 years straight. And I felt miserable. I got worse.
Yeah, and
And
they just kept on prescribing you
different ones, higher doses, different ones. Oh, this one makes you nauseous. Try this one with it. So by the end of it, I was on like 5 different medications, and half of them were to fix the side effects
of the other ones.
Yeah. And it just got ridiculous. I felt worse. I went through a stage where I wanted to just myself.
Yeah.
It was horrible.
Well, you were at one point, I remember, like, you would wake up and like the sheets would be a sweat mark.
It was crazy.
Like there was literally like a sweat mark where you slept because your body, I think you were going through withdrawals while you slept.
Yeah, I stopped taking them. Yeah. That was when I stopped taking them. And they tell you not to stop taking them cold turkey, and I did.
No, this is when you were on them.
Oh, this is when I was on them? This is when
you were on them, and
Gosh, I don't
literally
remember.
at night, because they would wear off, your body was going through withdrawals.
It was nuts. I hated being on them, and if anyone asks me, I never recommend them.
Yeah.
Just from the experience I had from them.
I think, everybody's body is different, and yeah, I would say in general, I probably agree with you. I always remember like the Tom Cruise when he was being interviewed. Remember, he's like,
thought he was crazy then.
He's like, you don't even know anything about him.
When he, guy probably didn't.
But yeah, it was what Matt Lauer, I think, was interviewing him. I think, and he was like, you don't know what you're even talking about.
Yeah.
And that was back where no one really questioned them. Now a lot of people are questioning them. So it's interesting.
The studies have come out. They're starting to come out. These studies are coming out that they are largely ineffective.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. It's hard for me to like have a strong opinion just because I've never, like, depression just doesn't run in our family. And I've never really felt it. If I'm sad for an hour or two, and then I get over it.
Just great. It worked out great for me because I always knew I had like a steady, something steady to hold on to.
Yeah,
and that was always you.
But you didn't really have any of these issues until we got married, or not married.
Had babies
until you married me. That's when you got depressed.
Yeah, that when I started having babies.
When you started having babies, like every time you had a baby for 2 years,
it was horrible. I didn't feel like myself.
Yeah. Your body just took time to regulate, and it would jack up. And anyway, so now we look at, so we've used these SSRIs, and for a lot of people, they don't seem to work very well, or they're on them their entire life. So I think with these psychedelic drugs is that you can take them, maybe not once, but it's not like you're taking them all the time. And for some reason, it seems to reset people's system, especially if they've been through, dramatic situations where they've got depression, not just because of chemical imbalance, but something has happened. A lot of our soldiers, have seen some rough stuff, and
trauma
had to make, tough decisions, and the trauma is what's brought them there. We've got 17 to 18 deaths per year for our veterans.
It's a lot.
And then I think United States.
17 to 18 per year or per day?
Sorry, I said year. I said per year, per day, day. So 17 to 18 deaths per day, and then you got 130-ish that just normal people, including our veterans, that pass away in the United States through ending their life. So Trump is basically using the. I think he put it together in his first term. It was the right to try, I think is what they call it. Mm-hmm. So it's like, if you're thinking about ending your life, then why not try whatever you can? What does it matter at that point? So, we should be promoting good health and trying to live, not like Canada that has the MAID program.
Oh, you feel bad about yourself? How about MAID?
Yeah. You know how many people they've euthanized?
It's a lot.
About
I don't know.
16,500 people.
Is that since it started? How much do you know? How much per year?
In 2024. That's what. So I don't know when it started, but just in 1 year.
Say that number again.
16,499 to be exact.
That's bigger than our town that we live in.
That's three of our towns.
That's 3 small towns a year that they just.
Yeah. So people are ending their lives, it's like, why not try every possible thing you can, whether legal or illegal at that point? Who really cares? But it's, to me, it'd be a lot better if there was something that was legal. And if there's a right way of doing it, if it could be done at a medical facility, that would be even better. The way that they described it, and I don't know, is it's not like going to be, hey, pick up some shrooms at the local pharmacy. It's, we're going to do this, and it's going to take you into this weird visionary thing that it does for some people, and you're going to be under like doctor's care at the time.
So they're going to be admitted.
Like in a controlled place. Yes. Yep. But I think a lot of people, they'll go to like Peru and, you know, they do these, Joe Rogan's talked about it. But they'll do this insane thing and they go through like these dreams or nightmares or whatever they want to call them. But when they come out, they seem to be completely cured. I mean, there's some people that will swear up and down by them that they're completely cured the moment that they come out of this dream state or whatever.
Yeah, I'd like to see more research on that done and very controlled, because those types of things can get really dangerous.
Yeah. I don't know enough about them to be completely for it, but I can tell you I'm for it just because if they're going down that path of, you know, ending their life, it's like at this point, why not? Now maybe a doctor has to find out, okay, are we at that stage where, I mean, if someone just starts to go through the, okay, I have depression, I don't know if that's when you use it, right? It maybe it is, but maybe it's more for the severe stuff. I don't know. But I think the more that you do it, the more trials that they have, the more data that they can get on it, the better it is. Yeah. And, you know, maybe they find out a couple of years from now it doesn't work and they need to just remove the eye as an option.
That's the problem with those things, though. When they don't work, there's companies and special interests that are behind them to where if they don't work, they lose a lot of money. So they push it. The same reason why with the SSRIs and the SNRIs, how they largely don't work, but they're still widely pushed because of special interests.
Well, it makes them money. And the pharmaceuticals don't want the shrooms to be used because...
Well, if they
work, they only take it once or maybe twice versus an SSRI where you got to take it every single day for the rest of your life because it never
or you
really
take off,
works.
you get off when you start withdrawing, you have night sweats.
Yeah, just drenched with sweat.
It was crazy. I do remember that. I remember just being drenched in sweat in the evening.
Yeah. So Barbara said, I don't understand how psychedelic drugs could help. That just sounds bizarre. Add one problem on top of another doesn't make any sense to me. Well, and I think we have, in my opinion...
Well, what we have now isn't any better.
Well, in my opinion, we have a way of looking at certain drugs because they've been illegal. You know, we look at illegal drugs, especially if you're a member of our church, we're told not to use drugs, right? But we have illegal drugs, and that seems to be like, okay, now these drugs here are bad, even though they might use like fentanyl, for example. Well, they use fentanyl in hospitals all the time. One of my friends' spouses had surgery. They gave her fentanyl. But yeah, street fentanyl is something completely, dangerous. So I think we've got to stop, in my opinion, we have to stop looking at marijuana, drugs, that are normally street, drugs as something horrible. In my opinion, versus...
Well, marijuana stinks, so... I don't want to be around people
You
on
can
it.
get them in gummies. You don't have to smoke them anymore. Come on. This is 2025.
All right, I get it. Maybe you're right. You're definitely right there, but I get really annoyed with people who smoke it because you smell bad.
Yeah, you do. Well, I'm
telling you right now.
Cigarettes, I don't like that.
Yeah, cigarettes, like it makes you smell it. And you know how I feel about people who don't care that they're stinky.
Yes, we know.
It is disrespectful.
Yeah, if our daughter's friends come over that are like, there's like that age group with kids where they don't put on deodorant all the time or they don't yet, and you have to tell them like, hey, it's time because you smell like a PE locker room.
Yeah.
So, but April's not afraid to tell like my daughter's friends that you stink and you need to wear deodorant. But anyway,
Back to the marijuana. Why don't we like it?
Well,
Why
no,
do we need to stop
no,
looking for it?
I'm not. For me, I'm not against. I'm against it as a recreational drug, but if it makes someone healthier, then
Yeah, but
why not use it? If I'm going to kill, in my life, or if I'm always miserable and I can go to a doctor, be in a controlled area, and take the medicine. And this is me, guys. I've never used any drugs. I've never smoked. I've never drank.
I've known people that use marijuana, and they're dumb as rocks. They're slow. They're docile. They're just not. It makes you dumb.
Are you talking about the ones that use it all the time and they smoke it and it stinks?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about people.
Well, I don't know. Like,
I'm talking about people like that are related to you that use it, that we love and are really good people. Yeah, you got nothing to say now.
that person's not dumb, but a lot of people that smoke it are. I've met them.
Yeah, and
maybe it just takes a dumb person to smoke it.
I think we think of when we were in high school and the kids that wore short shirts that had shrooms and they smelled like stinky weed all the time.
And their grades were like
long,
below
greasy
average.
hair. Yeah, I'm not talking about that stuff. I'm talking about an ex-Marine that is suffering day in and day out because of things he had to see.
Yeah,
I'm talking
I
about
the
girl that got raped. I'm talking about those people that it's like,
oh,
you could live your life in misery.
You can't say that word.
Oh, that's true. I probably shouldn't have said. But I'm talking about people that get what they call
S-aid,
and they are struggling their whole entire life. But if they take this for some reason, it helps them. And I don't understand the science behind it, but I still think it would be good for them to have that as an option.
I agree to an extent, I guess.
Lauren says, Jesus heals. When it seems like your burden isn't removed, you can be strengthened by his grace. So I think that's true.
That's true, but you have to have that confidence in yourself, and that's the hardest part to get.
Yeah. Well, it can be really hard for people that have went through tough things.
Yeah. Jesus for sure does. I will tell you, that's the one thing that got me out of that. But it's hard to get to that point. It's hard because you have to forgive yourself and you have to know your worth. And if you don't even know that, it's hard to let Jesus heal you.
Yeah. Well, I think faith, when you look at it, so I agree with you, Lauren, but some of these people that have went through some of these dramatic things, their confidence in themselves is so low. And I think faith and confidence they do go together.
For sure.
When you really believe that you're a son of God, your confidence gets really, really high. It has the ability to be really, really high because of that. But if you have been beaten down through life and you don't have that, that can be an issue. And I think that God does put things here on earth and they can be used horribly. Like I said, when I think of shrooms, I think of a few people in my high school that were just, potheads and druggies.
Yeah.
But from what I hear from some of these guys, remember, this is not the guys that are using shrooms every day. They're going into a doctor's office. It's being delivered to them. They're staying a lot of times overnight is how they described it. And they're going through this process. So it's not what we normally think of. It is medicine. It's kind of like, to me, how I feel, it's like if I had a really bad cut in my arm and I'm going to bleed to death, I'm not probably going to say, well, Jesus heals. That's just my opinion. I'm going to have them stitch it up and put it back together. And I see medicine as the same thing. I see this as an opportunity. Again, I don't know if it's right or wrong, but I'm for the chance for people to use it to see if it's going to work for them. That's for sure.
Yeah. No, I definitely agree with that, because going through it, for 10 years of, having faith, but not truly understanding my worth, that it makes it near impossible. You have to understand your worth and you have to be able to get past your trauma before you can see the healing grace of Christ.
Yeah. Agreed. All right, my brother Eric, who's having, well, his wife is having a baby. He wanted me to do a survey to see what people would think on boy names. I can only remember one of them though. I've drawn a blank. One was Boone, 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 and the other one was, what was it? What was the other one? You remember?
Oh, it was some kind of animal name.
No, I like ox. So throw that in there. If you like ox, like an oxen.
Oh.
So Oxen Grady, Boone Grady, or what was the other one? Eric, type it in the chat. Type it in the chat so I can remember.
I don't. What happened to Theodore?
Oh, that was it. It was Theodore.
Okay.
You could probably call him Theo. Maybe
No, you call him Teddy.
Teddy. But anyway, so all right, you guys got to vote. It's Anne Marie. Well, it says Anne Marie Renee, so I don't know which one it is. But Anne Marie says Theo.
I agree with her because I like Theodore Roosevelt.
But
and if I would have had a son, it would have been Theodore.
We're not okay. Just so we know the survey is it Theodore? Is it Boone? And I threw an ox, but it really shouldn't be thrown in there. So let's just do Theodore or Boone. You guys vote. Everybody vote that's listening. I'm voting. What are you voting, April? You're voting Theodore.
I'm voting Theodore. I love, because my favorite president, Theodore Roosevelt. So that's why I like Theodore. And if you want to know why that name is so cool, you got to look up and learn about Theodore Roosevelt and the awesome person he was.
Yeah, he was.
Once you learn about Theodore Roosevelt, you'd be like, I'm naming my kid that.
I think we've said this in the past, but
he had a pet badger.
Pet badger named Josiah, which is awesome. And Josiah was put at the Bronx Zoo eventually because he kept on biting
people in the White House were complaining he was getting bit. Bunch of wussies.
Bunch of girls, huh? Yeah. So
his badger bites on the knee is a bad idea. No bueno.
All right. My older brother, apparently he's a lot older. He still can't figure out YouTube, even though he's listening. I don't know why he can't get to the chat. But Ryan said Theo. So Theo is Ryan's vote.
I like Theodore, not Theo. You gotta call him Teddy.
No, Barbara said I would say Theodore, but not Teddy. Oh, dang.
Uh-oh.
Why would you say that, Barb? Why would you disagree with April like that? I like Theo. I like Teddy too. I like both, to be honest with you. I like Boone. Ryan said he doesn't like any of them though. So I would say for me it's definitely, I would say Theo. That's what I would probably call him. Sorry, April. I know you like Teddy.
No, I like Teddy.
Dude, Teddy Roosevelt was total bad A though. I mean, he literally gets shot in the chest and then grabs him by the collar, and I think he said something like, Why'd you do it? Why'd you do it? And then gives like an 80-minute speech after that. Goes to the Amazon, gets really sick.
Left the bullet in. They didn't even take the bullet out.
Didn't even take the bullet out. Has a badger. Everybody else has got dogs. He's like, nah.
Badger.
My dog's the badger. Like, that's the name of the dog?
Careful, he bites.
It's a badger.
No, his name is Josiah. He's a badger.
All right, people, keep on voting. Keep on voting if you can. Is the name of the baby going to be Theo? Oh, I guess Theodore. Or is it going to be Boone? Last name is Grady, so you kind of have to think Theodore Grady, probably call him Theo Grady, or Boone Grady. Little bit kind of, this kid's probably going to be a little taller. They're pretty slender people. Eric's got some meat on him. So I think that makes a difference. When you pick a name, like you can't pick like Ox or like some like masculine name if you're like 5'2" and 100 pounds.
I don't like Ox.
So that makes a difference. So probably going to be about 6 foot. Mom's tall, dad's tall, and dad's athletic built. Mom is skinny. So, all right. Well, let's keep going. We've put the survey out there, but people keep on telling us. What do you like, Theo, or
you got to put a 1 after your comment. You got to put a 1 because we can't see it.
Yeah, try to put a 1 so it moves up.
Send your comment and then put a 1 and then send that, so it bumps it up.
Oh, Lily, you put Boone? You like Boone? Lily likes Boone. Anyway, some people say that Boone is more of a dog name. Actually, my sister's dog is named Boone. So,
Yeah, I think it's more of an animal's name.
I think it's pretty cool. Oh, and their family is like pretty like all those boys play soccer and they're wrestling and or they're going to, I should say. So they're pretty athletic people too. So Boone Grady as a wrestler, that's a cool name. Theo Grady as a wrestler,
I wouldn't
it's
call
okay.
him Theo.
Theodore or Teddy Grady, Teddy like teddy bear. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Okay. I'd like to hear what people are thinking right now on. Oh, what? Ryan, he figured out how to use the chat. Good job. Cash. Ryan threw something in there. He's putting Cash Grady. That's kind of played out. There was about 10 years ago, Cash was a big name.
Yeah, I don't like I don't like going with trendy names
there's
because
certain trendy names. Yeah, they kind of go in, go out.
Yeah, I like more classical names, traditional names. They don't tend to age as well. Like if you meet a Zach, he's a millennial.
Yeah.
If you meet a Nick, probably a millennial. If Brittany, drunk millennial.
All right, well.
Maybe on some SSRIs.
Right, your name's April, so let's not go through dissing everybody's name, okay? You're a month.
Yeah, but it's not really a name that was trendy, so.
Okay.
It's kind of timeless.
April likes the timeless stuff. So
I do.
I can appreciate that. What is everybody thinking about currently the war in Iran? If you think the war in Iran is still something that you think is a good thing, go ahead and press 1. If you think it's bad, we should get out of it. You're not supporting it anymore. Press 2. So 1 if you're good, and 2 Ryan's offended. He's unsubscribing. He said he's probably never subscribed anyway.
I'm gonna
so press 1 if you think the war is a good thing. Maybe good is not the right word for it, but if you're still supporting the war in Iran, press 1.
Or just
press 2 if you think it's time to get out. We got a 2 so far. Come on, press it. 1 if you think Iran is a good, we should continue and that we're not done. Follow Trump's lead. Or 2, you're telling Trump, we're done with this. Get out. It's time to get back to worrying about just America. Barb says 1, keep moving forward. What else? What do you think, April? If you were on this, would you press 1? Would you press 2?
I don't know. I want it to just get done with. I like Trump's idea. Like I want to leave NATO. I don't think Europe thinks in our best interest anymore. They don't help us out with anything. I want Trump to develop the Western Hemisphere, and then we can rule the world.
Okay. We're going to talk about some of those subjects, but you didn't really answer the question.
I think he needs to hurry it up.
Yeah. It's time to shut the door.
But I get why he's
You're
doing
thinking?
it. I think I get why he's doing it.
Okay.
We can go into that in a minute.
Well, so let's kind of break down the timeline of this geopolitical chokehold that we have with the Strait of Hormuz. So let's make sure everybody knows. First of all, the war started, I believe, if I'm right, it was Well, I have the dates here, but I really didn't research that. But on February 28th, the U.S. and Israel launched a coordinated airstrike on Iran. So that's when the war started. Iran warns it will forbid passage through the Strait of Hormuz and begins blocking traffic immediately. Now, we really didn't hear about it immediately, though. We've only, probably the last 3 weeks, it's been something that the news is just constantly talking about. March 2nd through the 4th, Iran officially confirms the Strait of Hormuz is closed, claiming complete military control. They complete military control my butt. They don't have control over anything.
I don't think they do. They're too small. They're not developed enough. I mean, they're wealthy, but
Yeah. A month later, April 8th, pretty recently, a temporary ceasefire is agreed upon to reopen the strait. 4 days later, April 12th, Trump announces a U.S. naval blockade of all Iranian ports and ships. So this is, I think, Vance went there to negotiate with them. They couldn't agree on a nuclear deal out of that. So Trump basically says, he pulls the whole "I'm not fired, I quit" type of routine and says, "You're not blocking it, I'm blocking it." And he blocks it with the U.S. naval ships. And no one in, no one out. So Iran was kind of letting people in and out. Some of their,
some
their
of their
buddies
allies
like China.
that,
But very few. There was only like a couple ships that went in and out. But a couple of those ships carried, lots and lots of oil. April 13th, the U.S. blockade officially begins. April 17th, Iran announces the strait is open. So that was just yesterday. To commercial vessels. April 18th, President Trump declares the U.S. blockade remains in full force. Iran immediately reverses course and recloses the Strait of Hormuz, and they even fire on some of the ships. I think they were firing with just regular guns with these big steel ships. So it's like shooting a BB gun at a house.
Just pinging off the side.
It's just not going to do anything really. But anyway, so it's just this back and forth and back and forth and back and forth, and there's no really a lot of people are very confused on what's going on. Even me, I was like, is the strait open or is it closed? Are we letting some ships through? So from what I can see, we're really not letting anything through. There has been a couple ships that have gotten through, but this has caused a huge change in where people, well, first of all, so like China, for example, they get 50% of their oil from the strait.
Yeah, well, it travels through the strait, not from Iran. They only get like 20.
It's like 12 to 15% from Iran. But you got to remember, on that strait, you've got Saudi Arabia, you've got Qatar, you've got the I can never remember the United
Emirates,
Arab Emirates, United.
I
Arab
always
Emirates.
think of the airline.
You've got Iraq
with the pretty ladies and the hats.
Yeah, you've got all these people going through, that are all these ships that go through the strait to get the oil and then take them to their country. Mm-hmm. Well, all that's blocked, and that's 50% of China's oil.
Yeah.
Now, China has, from what I read, China has almost
reserves,
like a 4 to 6 month reserve supply.
I heard they have until June 8th. I watch a military strategist, and
I've heard
he said June 8th.
Yeah, I've heard June too. So, we've already been in this war for about a month and a half to 2 months. So June kind of lines up with that 4 month-ish, range. So they're not feeling it super hard. And they can also get oil from other places. Now,
yeah, but they have that pipeline from Russia, but that, it's already at capacity. Mm-hmm. They can only pump through so much through it. So it's not like it helps, but it's not going to it's not going to fix the problem. They're going to have to either get it from somewhere else where it doesn't travel through the strait, or that strait's going to have to open back up.
Yeah, I agree. The other thing that we've seen this happening, again, this is where a lot of people say Trump's playing his 4 or 5D chess game. So what a lot of people
I'm so sick of that analogy. They need to get another one.
Yes, I don't.
It's running. It's tired.
It's ran itself.
Yeah,
I understand. Well, here's another thing to look at that we've been talking about for the last couple of weeks. But super tankers, there's been a surge of super tankers going to the U.S. Gulf, the Gulf of what? Not Mexico, America.
Oh yeah.
The Gulf of America.
I was gonna say Hamas.
What? No.
I'm sorry, I wasn't listening for 2.5 seconds. I was like, wait, he asked me a question.
We were at it was funny today. We were at some soccer games today in the morning, and I looked up and there was a bald eagle that was flying around, and it was just kind of weird because it was in this open field and it was there for a long time. It just kept on doing circles, and I think you'd said
cruising.
what's it doing here? And I said, it's looking for Hezbollah and I think
Hamas.
I think I said Hamas and
Tucker Carlson. Yeah, he's going nuts, isn't he?
We'll talk about that a
piece of
little
work.
bit. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But anyway,
Right.
getting back to the super tanker. So just to give you pre-war numbers. So pre-war, we averaged 27 tankers a week in the Gulf. So 27. Today, 171 crude tankers are steaming towards our ports. 127.
And where are these going? What ports?
I'm sorry, 171. I just went dyslexic here. They're going to the Gulf. For May, 28 super tankers are booked. So they already have 28 super tankers that are booked. Normally, super tankers, there's only about 7. So they're saying that's a 460% increase.
Can you
from
hear us?
Pre-war. What?
Can they hear us? Someone said we have dead air.
Lily, can you hear us? Can you hear us? Yeah, they can hear us.
Okay.
I don't know.
All right. Sorry, I just wanted to make sure that we were.
So 460% increase already, and these are just bookings. That's huge. So this is where we can say, well, that's a big difference. So it says we are exporting record light sweet crude, but our Gulf refineries need heavy sour crude for the Middle East to run efficiently. Because we can't get that heavy oil through the Strait, U.S. refineries are in the global bidding war for alternative supplies, keeping domestic prices high. The price at the pump right now, for example, pre-war, now it says in Illinois we're at $3. Now that's the Chicago average always brings everything up. We were at $2.85, $2.80 here, somewhere around there. Today it's $4.32. So there is a national average jump of about 25% since the war began. That was only a month and a half ago. That's a huge jump. So people that are pressing to, I would assume, and I would like to know if you're pressing to because you don't agree that we should continue with this war, then I would like to know, is that solely because of the gas prices, or is it because of other reasons?
And what are those reasons?
Yeah.
Like what reasons is it? If it's not the gas, what is it?
Yeah. For me, I'm torn. I think we've pretty much accomplished what we needed to do there. Well, let's talk about that. So, a lot of people say, a lot of, left-leaning people or political people will say, we weren't able to do what we needed to do, and we didn't win the war. I would say that's bullcrap. The U.S. has, the first day of the war, we killed their supreme leader. So let's compare it to us. Has anyone been killed on our side, like our president? No.
Nah.
We also killed at least 40 top leaders of their government. No political leaders have been killed on our side. Iran casualties range from about 5,000 to almost 8,000. We've lost 15 people. So if
is that including the people they killed?
What do you mean?
Is that including the people Iran killed?
No, because the people that they killed, like if you think, and some of these are definitely civilians, but remember, before
we usually target military people.
Yeah, it's just bombs go off and accidents sometimes happen too. You got the school, those types of things will happen. But you compare it to us, and every soul is important, but 15 American troops have died. So, and then if you compare dollars, I think we've caused over like $100 billion of damage. They've caused about $800 million in damage to U.S. bases or airplanes that have been shot down.
That's not
comparable. It's not even comparable. Now, Trump, the only thing that people will say is Now, Trump really didn't promise regime change. He never said that.
I think that's what most people were hoping for, because they were wanting the Raza Pahlavi to get in there.
Yeah. Yeah, I think everybody was hoping that, and I think that would be the ultimate win to get a westernized leadership, Iranian in there. But that is very hard to do unless you're willing to put ground troops in there.
Yeah.
And that is going to Trump's promise wasn't really his main thing that he said, he might have said no new wars, but his main thing was no forever wars. So what is forever? I think when we were arguing, I had said, this war will last about a month and a half. We're a little bit past that now. I think you were at 3 to 6 months. I'm guessing that's where this is going. I think Trump is seeing that there's economic benefits of this war. Not just, we're not there to, at least right now, we're not there taking their oil, but we are getting so much more people coming over and buying our oil. You got some hair that's going on?
It's like tickling the tip of my nose. It's driving me nuts. I'm trying to just get over it, but it's not working. All right.
All right. Just going back to Eric's kids' names, we got Ryan throwing out many suggestions. Colton Grady, Nash Grady, Luca Grady, Kai Grady? Kai? No. Luca Grady. That's got the Italian vibe. I kind of like that. Maverick Grady, I think it's played out. Max Grady, I like Max. I do like Max. It's like a old,
Max,
a little bit older,
Maximus,
classic. Yeah, I like that one.
Still stuck on Theodore?
You're stuck on. Is it Theodore or Teddy? Is what
Teddy, both. No, Theodore. Call him Teddy.
Yeah.
If any of our girls have a boy, I'm going to heavily influence.
I know. Yeah. All right. Let's talk about some of. So Trump has lost a lot of support from bigger names. So we've seen a lot of people leaving the Trump camp.
Well, where are they going to go? Kamala?
Including, I'm just saying they're not supporting him right now. But let me just tell you, Candace Owens, huge name.
Okay.
Megyn Kelly, huge name. Tucker Carlson, huge name. Alex Jones. And when I say huge name, they have tons of people that listen to him.
Has Alex gone, or is he just kind of like?
Well, they are battling via tweets or on X or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Trump has attacked them, but they've been attacking him for probably the last 3 to 4 or 5 months or 5 weeks, way before Trump started.
Mm-hmm.
And it was really Tucker that's been leading this really against him. And honestly, Tucker Carlson has lost me. Well, first of all, Megyn Kelly, if you go back, just go on YouTube and Megyn Kelly flip-flops on everything. She basically follows what the population is going to say.
Yeah.
She just kind of she's a follower. And yeah,
I think that's why I kind of never really got in with her. She's never stood for anything significantly.
Yeah. She doesn't figure out anything on her own. She just kind of hears what someone else says. If she likes it, she'll repeat it.
Mm-hmm.
Or, when she was working, was it for ABC? I mean, she was
Fox.
Was it Fox? Well, Fox News, but then she left there and went somewhere else.
Oh, that's
remember?
right. She got a show.
Yeah, she got her own show. I don't know if it was ABC or NBC, but she was even really pushing the transgender stuff.
Well,
you can find clips where she was pushing that, and now she says
not popular anymore.
It's evil, and yeah, so she changes when the wind changes, and I don't like that. So Alex Jones definitely doesn't follow anyone. He says whatever he wants to say.
Right.
He's probably on psychedelics most of the time, but
either that or stimulants.
He's on something. But yeah, Tucker Carlson has really been leading the pack, but he's been saying crazy stuff. I mean, things like, I think he bought a house in Qatar, and he said he can because he's American. I was like, what does being American
what does that have to do with
buying a house in
a foreign land?
And then he's defending Sharia law, and he's like, Sharia law is pretty good. with his stupid
That's
laugh.
one of the reasons I don't watch him, even when he was kind of like when I was agreeing with him. I couldn't. His laugh is just it's too much for me.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I agree. His laugh is yeah.
Yeah, you gotta stop doing that.
It's annoying.
I hate that.
I'm actually
so
pretty
much.
good at it.
You're
so
really good at it, and
so
that's
I
the problem. I really hate it.
But yeah, he's like defending Sharia law as like a divine order, and it helps with secular chaos. And it's like, okay, well, let's compare Sharia law to like our laws and see, does it really match up? Is that something you really believe in? I mean, he's like saying, well, go over to Qatar and there's no rape and there's no da-da. But yeah, but there's also...
You got to stop saying that word.
Yeah, well, I don't think we're big enough for YouTube.
I don't think so either. But maybe someday.
But yeah, there's like so many different things that he has said that just doesn't make sense at this point, especially the Sharia law, and he's like supporting it. So
that's nuts to me. When you had me listen to that this morning, it was not. I couldn't believe it. I knew he was going a little off the rails, but I did not know he was like, and he was like the stuff he was saying. He's like, "What's so bad about it?" I was taken back.
Pretty crazy stuff. April, you had mentioned your thoughts on NATO. Can you kind of talk a little bit more about that?
I don't think their interests align with us anymore, and I think it's been a long time since since World War II they have been consistently moving away from us and our ideals, and I think we should leave them.
Yeah,
I think we should drop them like a hot potato. They are not helping out with the whole. I mean, this has most to do with them. This blockade. This is the most to do with them, and they won't do anything to help us. Yeah. And Trump has said, I don't care anymore. I don't need you anyway. They're such small, insignificant countries, and they've all been taken over by Muslim culture and population at this point, that they're not going to fight against any culture that adopts that Muslim identity. Yeah. So I just think it's time to just drop them.
Well, that's one of the reasons why Spain and some of these other countries, they won't come and help us, because they have a giant population of Muslims and they don't want to politically lose their support. So if some of you guys are wondering what's going on with our NATO allies, it has everything to do.
They've done nothing
with their giant population, their immigrants that they've brought into their country, and they don't want to lose the support of it.
Yeah, because they've imported this culture, and they've given them representation. And now it's completely been taken over. I think anyone that is conservative in those countries needs to think about leaving. Yeah.
No, we are not aligned. We're not aligned politically. We're not aligned religiously. We're not aligned on how we think and process information. I mean, it's so bad, and I think we talked about this last week. It's so bad that there are Muslim countries that won't pay for colleges that they normally pay for if they go to England because of the Muslim Brotherhood, and they don't want their kids to be indoctrinated by the Muslim Brotherhood because they're an extreme Muslim group. They're a terrorist type of group.
Says something.
So when a Middle Eastern country that is predominantly Muslim won't allow their kids to go there because you have extremist Muslims, that says something very strong. I mean,
yeah. Something's wrong with that country. It's been infiltrated, and it's been colonized by Muslims.
Yeah.
And the extremist kind. And yeah, I don't think there's a place for Western culture over there anymore.
What about in the name of diversity, hon? Aren't you diverse?
No.
Well, explain that a little bit. No. Explain that a little bit.
Well, I'm not diverse as in like, I don't care about the color of your skin, but in ideals and morals, I don't think diversity is a good thing.
Yeah.
I think it can be dangerous.
Yeah.
A culture has to agree on a set of rules and a set of social acceptance. Mm-hmm. And cutting off someone's head because they don't agree with you, religiously then or morally, then I think you have a bad culture. I think
Yeah.
you have a culture that's okay with, the treatment of women the way Eastern civilizations do. I think
Yeah, I think there's this push that I don't completely understand, that all cultures are equal or all
they're not.
cultures are good. And you can't, it seems like it's always said this about minority cultures. I mean, would you have said all cultures are good in 1940s Germany?
No.
I hope not. How about 1940s Russia? How about Russia right now?
Yeah.
There
How about 1910s when Russia was really going through it, 1910 to 1918,
Yeah.
when the communist, the Leningrad was taken over.
Yep. Mao
You know?
was Mao's culture. Are you okay with that? Are you okay with cannibalist groups that, I mean, there's still,
There are
there's
cultures that
still
are better than others. There are,
cultures in Australia and Africa that are cannibalists.
yeah. And that's the thing, they're trying to blur, a lot of people on the left try to blur the line between culture and race. Well, it's my culture, you have to accept it. Well, your culture sucks and I don't have to accept it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
we
I don't have to be tolerant of
Right.
your intolerance.
Yeah. We shouldn't have to, change our morals
To fit your culture.
to fit your culture. That's not what we need to do. And if you do that, then you really have your culture. I mean, that's the thing about America. It is a blending pot. We bring in
Melting pot.
A melting pot. Sorry,
Sorry, I had to correct that.
A melting pot. We bring in everybody in a organized fashion, but you melt into our culture.
Mm-hmm.
We are an established nation at this point, so we want our culture to be the culture and not Mexico's culture or Canada's culture or whatever.
Canada's culture of death.
Yeah. I almost
Oh,
said,
you're a little sad? How about
Here's-
some aid?
here's some medicine. Yeah.
We can
So-
end it all.
Yeah. So I think it's important to recognize, like, hey, yes, you shouldn't be racist. You should love everybody, but you don't have to love their culture. You don't have to love, I should say, you don't have to agree with their religious beliefs.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have to agree with a Buddhist or a Hindu or a Catholic or whatever. I have my own beliefs, and I don't have to blend in to make someone else feel
Comfortable.
happy.
Yeah.
I don't force anyone to blend into how I feel. If you don't live in my house, you don't have to do that. Live in my house, it's a different story.
Yeah.
So I
Kept
would,
a lot of people from living with us.
yeah, it's a good thing.
It's a good thing.
So anyway,
We've had some people
But-
who are like, "Can I come live with you?" I'm like, "Yeah, you had to go to church with us every Sunday." And I'm like, I'll live on the streets.
find someone else.
I'll find someone else. That's typically what they do. This says more about them, I think, than it does about me. But.
So yeah, I mean, NATO was good at one point, but if their culture is so different, and if they don't want to help us when we ask for it, what's the use of them? I mean, the use of NATO is primarily if there is a war that breaks out, the other nations will help them.
Yeah, and that's the one they're using. It's like I can't remember what it was, like the fifth something
Yeah.
or another. But it says that if you're not being attacked, then they don't have to help. So it has to become a direct conflict with them as well. So but they don't help at all with anything.
Yeah.
Anything that gets fixed over there, it's typically us doing it.
Yeah.
That's why I'm like, I'm so sick of this side of the hemisphere, and they can go kick rocks.
Yeah. Yep. Well, and that's one thing that I think has been really neat, that Trump started the Shield of Americas. So in March, Trump launched a 17-country coalition with Latin America
Nice.
partners to secure the Western Hemisphere and target cartels.
I like it.
So I think it's really good.
Yeah.
I think we live here in the Western Hemisphere.
Keep it free.
Hopefully our neighbors and us can all get along, and we can trade with each other. We can have good relationships. We had the short little thing that what happened in February or so, or January with Venezuela. It seems like we have good relationships with them now, that things are going much better. But I think this hemisphere needs to know that, hey, we're not bringing other cultures or other, not cultures, but other.
You can have your own little cultures down there. I like, their culture.
Yeah.
It's more of the morals of their culture that I struggle with. Like your music and your food. Like that's all, little nuances.
Who doesn't like Mexican food?
Huh? Oh, everybody loves Mexican food. Except for her.
Yeah, we got a couple of daughters. Their tummies can't handle it.
Yeah. But no, like your food and your dancing and your music, that's all very niche and nuanced. It's what are your morals and your human rights ideals.
I didn't even mean any of that. I actually meant like, how China was trying to have more control over the Panama Canal. No. China was getting their oil from Venezuela.
Mm-hmm.
Cuba not having good relationships with them. So I think, it's important for us to have a strong ally here within our own hemisphere.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems like Trump has also strengthened a lot of relationships with other Middle Eastern countries. Of course, it's always been good with Israel, but Qatar and Saudi Arabia, it seems like they've got good relationships there. But it does seem like our ally, it's Europe used to be our big allies, right? England and France and
it's tired.
And many others.
It's
and
tired.
That seems like it's worn out. It's worn out its welcome, and we're not seeing eye to eye with them, and we're wanting to refocus and say, okay.
Not with their politicians anyway. I mean, I don't know how their citizens are, and I'm sure there's good conservative people in that country, and I feel sorry for them, and I hope they can get out.
Yeah.
But as far as how your government's going, it's not in your best interest. They don't care about your best interest.
Yep.
So.
All right. So anyway, that's something that I think we should, hopefully we start seeing some more action there with the Shield of America, because I'd like to see what they do. Anything else, April, you wanted to go over today as we start to close it down?
What's the results on the name stuff?
Well, I think most people that voted said Theo or Theodore. I don't think anyone said Boone, which I think that was Eric's favorite.
I don't think Boone's very good. I don't like Boone. But
yeah.
What are some of the comments we maybe missed?
I don't know if we missed any.
Okay.
I was trying to go through them as... Oh, here was one from Lauren that I missed, I think. Serving and helping others brings attention off the past. It grounds you in the present. When you help others, you help yourself. So that was part of our discussion on, I think she was responding to the drugs, and we talked about Jesus, and she's also adding that, serving others.
Yeah.
That's one thing that I 100% agree with. When you serve others, you kind of forget yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You feel really good. I think that's almost like a drug itself, is it makes you feel good that you're able to help someone else. So yeah, completely agree with that.
I think that's the only. Yep.
There was a lot of back and forth with the kids. Anyway.
What did Piece of Pizza? China always seems like they stay in the background of all of this. Conflicts, not really participating a whole lot. Do you think that is an advantage to them? What?
China seems like they stay in the background of all these conflicts and not really participate. I think it's not an advantage. I just think if for some reason they started moving their ships to the strait, that would be a big
That would
issue.
be a big red flag that this is really starting to escalate.
Yeah.
China is more interested right now in trying to obtain Taiwan. Their goal is to do that.
Yeah.
And I think anything that kind of deflects for that or might throw a wrench in it, they kind of shy away from. But they want to take Taiwan. And when that happens, that's when you know it's going to escalate.
Yeah. I don't think the Chinese does not want to escalate it.
No.
If they're forced to, if something happens to, like, let's say we're still doing it, it will be interesting if, you know, by June, if this is still going, June, July, because that means their oil reserves are starting to run out. And I don't know if they're actually going to run out, though. I think they're just going to send their ships over the Gulf of America and get more oil, or somewhere else. If it's not us, it's going to be somewhere else.
Yeah.
So I don't think they're going to send their ships over to stop the blockade.
I don't think they're military.
Because that would be World War at that point.
Yeah,
And
I don't think they're ready to take us on militarily.
Yeah.
I don't think that's a word, but I just used it.
Militarily.
Yeah. Military-wise. Like, their military sucks compared to ours.
Doing some George Bush words over there.
Militarily, they don't stack up.
And I think
I said it.
They have a pretty strong military, probably second best. But again, that's a World War scenario, and I don't think anyone wants this to turn into a World War.
I don't think so either. I don't think anybody's ready for that.
China wants to take over and be the strongest economy.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they want.
Yeah.
And then after that, then they can then they'll probably go after the military stuff. But right now, they just want to be the strongest economically.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Well, that was our podcast for this week. Thanks for joining us. I appreciate it with Zach and
April.
When Reviving the American Family. Appreciate you guys. Have a great weekend. Happy Sabbath tomorrow.
Happy Sabbath.
Bye.